Hello and welcome to Random Access. I'm Kirsten Andrews and we're here today to talk to Tyler Wiest about his experience in self-defense and martial arts. Thanks for being here, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So I'm just going to get right into it.
Sure.
What's your history with self-defense and martial arts?
I have a very long history of martial arts self-defense. I've been doing martial arts self-defense for the majority of my life. I started when I was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was very young and very little. I was little. In fact, I wasn't even over 5 feet until high school. I was really little, so I got picked on a lot.
Yeah.
My parents wanted to stop that, so they put me in Taekwondo when I was very young. And the bullying didn't stop until I hit back and knocked someone out.
You knocked someone out? Which grade?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade? Wow.
Yeah, so bullying, you know, steadily decreased throughout my confidence building, but it finally stopped once I hit back. And once I knocked them out, that was it. Everyone knew not to mess with me because I know how to handle myself.
That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite stories to share with martial arts. But yeah, I was Taekwondo from 6 to 12, got my black belt. From there, I stopped for a bit, so I broke my elbow, couldn't punch for a bit. That was painful, and it took me out of commission for a bit. And I didn't start up again until high school. In high school, I had this crush on this girl, and she invited me to some sparring seminar, so I wanted to show off to her and everything. It was fun, but there I ended up sparring a guy who learned under Chuck Norris and punched me in the face so hard I got double vision, and that was a...
Is sparring a type of martial arts?
No, sparring is, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
It's good for our audience to clarify.
Yeah.
Sparring is where you practice your techniques against each other, have a mock with your techniques. Pretend fighting, better way of putting it.
Okay.
And so from there, wake-up call, learned a bunch of different systems and styles after that because I wanted to get better, so that doesn't happen to me again. So I learned some different ones like Hapkido, Eskrima, Jiu-Jitsu, and fast forward through high school, got into college, and then I wanted to teach. And learning a bunch, I wanted to teach a simple way to help people learn quickly, so I learned a system called Jeet Kune Do. Which was developed by Bruce Lee, and I became certified in teaching that in 2014.
Oh, okay.
So
how many different types of martial arts are there?
I do not know the exact number, but there are hundreds.
Hundreds, wow.
Yeah, hundreds worldwide.
Wow. Is there a difference between self-defense and martial arts?
Yes.
There is? Okay.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So self-defense is the application of protecting yourself. And you actually don't need to know a system or style of martial arts to know self-defense. Okay.
Is self-defense the one that you learned when you were 6?
No, I learned a style of self-defense called Taekwondo.
Oh, okay.
And what a style or system is just what has been developed over many years of amalgamation of techniques in different countries. For example, karate is one that's well known. That's in Japan, and that developed from a different style called Bushido. And it's basically where they learn the techniques samurais would practice with swords and turn it into techniques with open hand. Taekwondo, I mentioned, is my first martial art. That's a punching and kicking technique that was developed in Korea, and that is the most widely practiced martial art in the United States.
Yeah.
Other martial art people don't know who don't know martial arts, so to speak, is boxing. Boxing's a Western martial art of punching.
Boxing's a type of martial art.
It's a type of martial art.
That's interesting.
Yeah, martial art is martial, which is, I guess, a Greek or Roman, I think, god of war. So war art is basically what it means.
What are some other misunderstandings that people have with martial arts and self-defense?
Another great question. Thanks for keeping them coming. So another misunderstanding, a lot of misunderstandings people have, but one major one is that techniques will always save you. So people think that if they learn the techniques, that if they apply it, they can hurt someone, they automatically are way safer than if they didn't know the techniques. Where it is true that something is better than nothing, it is actually at times more dangerous to apply techniques in a real life situation than to get out of that situation, so to speak. For example, many people would spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time learning systems and styles and have this attitude, this air about them as to where because they know the techniques, all of a sudden they're invincible. And that certainly isn't the case, because in a real life situation, you don't know if someone has a knife or a gun, or if they have 100 friends around the corner to gang up on you. So I guess from that, it's important to pull. The best way to protect yourself is to not be in that situation in the first place.
So I know you started martial arts when you were little to prevent bullying, but how do you use it now? You're teaching it, right?
Yeah. So I mentioned I learned Jeet Kune Do, got certified in doing that. I learned that in college to become a certified instructor. That was some of my income in college, teaching classes.
That's a smart way to make some money on the side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you have skills, you might as well use them for an income. But bullying prevention is a good form of self-defense. It's more than just the techniques you learn, as I was talking before about. Another thing martial arts teaches you is helps build confidence. Yeah, so a lot of the confidence I have now developed from the confidence building techniques I was learning in Taekwondo and these other systems and styles I learned when I was younger. So I apply the mentality of confidence to my day-to-day life.
So if you were talking to a martial arts beginner, what kind of systems or styles would you suggest for them to learn?
It's a great question. So there are two factors you have to take into consideration when it comes to wanting to learn a new system or style. One is how you want to use it. Another is perhaps your body type or age. So how you want to use it. If you want to be prepared in like a situation where you're rolling around on the ground, you obviously want to use jiu-jitsu. If you want to stay on your feet, and if you want to be very versed and handy with your hands, perhaps boxing is a better situation. If you want one that's just great for getting in shape and getting fit, cardio kickboxing is a wonderful system or style to get into. It's not necessarily a style, but you can go to any gym and find that. As I mentioned, also age or body type. If you're shorter and stockier, grappling or wrist-locking martial art like Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu would be better for you to learn. And if you're really tall and skinny, striking technique with a lot of kicking, a striking style with a lot of kicking like Muay Thai would be a really great fit for you. And
where should people go to learn martial arts? There's like studios and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, again, it ties into the same question you asked before, is what system or style is best for you. So if you want to learn a lot quickly, there's a lot of local gyms, especially here in the Bay Area. There's like American Kickboxing Academy, which teaches you a lot of different systems or things that pull from a lot of different systems in one place. But if you're younger, it's probably better for you to learn one style at a time and develop from there. Like if you have an 8-year-old, you don't want to send them necessarily to like an MMA gym because it's not the best fit. But it's a good way for them to build an internal understanding of their own bodies and the confidence they have within them if they learn one system or style effectively. Like go to a dojo, local dojo.
Clarification, what is MMA exactly?
Oh, I did mention MMA, Jim. That's a good question for our audience. It means mixed martial arts.
Oh, mixed martial arts, okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, before this whole UFC craze hit, MMA wasn't even a thing yet. It's a new term, but it just basically means mixing martial arts.
So all of the different systems and types together.
Yeah, that's a layman's understanding. But there are gyms now that they say they teach MMA, but it's become its own system or style. So if you go to learn MMA, you're learning puzzle pieces that have already been set out for you. Whereas if you are your own human being who's on their own process of developing understanding of systems and styles, you are creating your own mix of martial arts.
So do you think more people now learn MMA or learn multiple systems and styles? Like which do most people use?
That's another good question. That's kind of tricky. I think now MMA, or just learning the art of MMA, the style, the system, best word, the system of MMA is bigger than it ever has been because of UFC. And people see that, oh, that's what these guys are doing. They're in a cage together using a lot of different techniques to dismantle their opponents. So I want to learn that. I'll go in and learn that.
Okay.
So right now, as far as people who are young professionals or college aged, they're all learning what seems to be, a lot of them learning MMA.
So do you think that's the most popular system right now?
No, that's on the global stage, probably not.
Okay.
In the world, what's still most popular in the United States is Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And you go to China, MMA is not very popular. If you go to China, where martial arts is the highest per capita practice, they're all still learning forms of kung fu, like northern and southern style.
I see.
Yeah.
So going back to talking about people beginning martial arts, what kind of advice would you give to someone who decides to begin martial arts or self-defense?
Okay, well, I think it's important to establish an internal necessity for martial arts or self-defense. Okay. I think it comes down to whether or not someone believes they need to learn it. And then when asking that question, I think they must also establish within themselves why they want to learn. And if why they want to learn is, I want to beat people up, then they shouldn't learn, because that's for the wrong reason.
That's not a valid reason.
Yeah, it's not a valid reason. But it's more important to establish why. If the reason is you want to beat people up, that's an internal something they have to struggle with. But if the reason is actually they want to defend themselves, then it would be best fit coming to their own internal understanding what system or style would be best for me. And I would say to anyone, before even signing up for a gym or something, find somewhere with an open gym where they can get exposed to it a little bit. Maybe go to a seminar where they can learn a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. Maybe talk to someone who is an expert in self-defense or martial arts, like you and I are doing here. Yeah. And from that, maybe coming to understand what they want to do. For example, if you wanted to do self-defense or martial art, what type of techniques would you like to learn?
Let's say I wanted to learn how to defend myself.
Correct, yeah. In what situation?
In a situation where I'm being attacked.
In what way are you being attacked?
Let's say I was carrying my wallet or something and someone wanted to steal it. Okay,
let the wallet go. Walk away.
Is that
That's a valid, so this is the important thing, the root of a lot of what I'm saying with self-defense and martial arts, again, as I mentioned. You don't have to know a martial art in order to understand self-defense. Martial arts will teach you tools necessary when it comes to situations where you cannot avoid. So back to the situation you mentioned, if they're after your wallet, give them the wallet and walk away. Hypothetically, they don't let you walk away. What are they doing to you? Like, how are they not letting you walk away?
Physically attacking.
Yeah, how would they be attacking?
Throwing punches and stuff.
Throwing punches. Okay, good. Good. So if you're worried about getting punched, I would say that it would be best fit for you to learn first a striking technique and a striking system or style. So I would say, as an expert to someone like yourself, is get exposed to something like Muay Thai or boxing, as to where you can learn how to protect yourself from getting hit.
That's some really good advice. I think that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, all right. Thanks again for having me.
Awesome.